Good evening. Good evening all. Okay. So in last session we can discuss about the levels of testing. So nothing but the what are the levels of testing. I think we can discuss about four level of testing. So first one will be the unit testing, and second one integration testing, third one system testing, and fourth one will be the acceptance testing. Okay. So in this session, in today's session, we can go to discuss about the types of testing. What are all the testing types we have? Okay, and then we also going to discuss about the testing techniques. So what are the testing techniques we can follow? Okay. Okay, so types of testing. Okay, in first type will be the white box testing. So what is meant by the white box testing? So white box testing is a form of application testing. White box testing is a form of application testing that provide the testers with complete knowledge of the application being tested. So white box testers, so we had already known that white box testers are more strong in internal application coding knowledges. So those who have more internal application coding knowledge, they got called as the white box tester. So white box testing is a form of application testing that provide the tester with complete knowledge of the application being tested. So the white box testers can have the complete knowledge of the application. Okay, so next one, white box testers have more internal application coding knowledges. So the white box testers can have the more internal application coding knowledges. So what is mean by the more internal application coding language? So the more internal application coding language is nothing but the knowledge required to develop the application and to test the entire application with some internal details. Okay, this will be named as the internal application coding knowledges. Okay, so it is done by the developers. So the white box testings are 90% the white box testings are done by the developers, because the developers only can have the more internal application coding knowledges. Okay, so next one, it is done by the developers. Okay, next one, white box testers can focus on basic path testing and loop coverages, etc. So we have already discussed about the basic path testing and what will be the loop coverages testing. So white box testing is done by the developers. They can mainly focus on the basic path testing. Next one will be the loop coverages and maybe the mutation testing and maybe the loop. Okay, so next one. So what's the basic path testing? We had already discussed about this basic path testing. So basic path testing. So what is meant by this basic path testing? So basic path testing is nothing but to test each and every paths which are available in the application, which is nothing but the basic path testing. We are already discussed about it. And the loop coverages mean, so the loop coverage are mainly focused on testing the relational between the relational operations, relational expressions, or relational between the operators and anything. So likewise the relational expressions and arithmetic expression, for those we can go for the loop coverage testing. Okay, so those testings are entirely done by the white box testers. So the white box testers can focus only on the this kind of testing, basic path testing and loop coverages, and like the mutation testing, etc. Okay, so white box testers means white box testers can have more internal application coding knowledge. And second point, it is done by the testers, it is done by the developers only. So white box testing are completely done by the developers only. So white box testers can focus on basic path testing and loop coverages, etc. Okay, so next one will be the black box testing. So what is the black box testing? So white box testing's direct opposite one will be the black box testing. So white box testing means testing the application with having more internal application coding knowledges. Okay, and black box testing is a form testing that is performed with no knowledge of a system internal. So the black box testers can't have more knowledge of system internal, can be carried out to evaluate the functionality, security and performance and other aspect of an application. So here see the differences between these. So the white box testers can have more internal application coding knowledges, but black box tester cannot have the more internal application coding knowledge. They just do the evaluate the functionality of the testing. So functionality testing is security testing, performance testing, and other aspect of an application. But the white box testers can test the internal application. Okay, these will be the first difference. And second one, white box testers are who are named as white box testers. The developers can. White box testing is done by the developers. The black box testing is done by the testers. Okay, white box testing is done by the developer and black box testing is done by the testers. The black box testers does not have more internal application coding knowledge. The white box developer can have more internal application coding knowledge, but the black box testers does not have more internal application coding knowledge. Okay. Next one, positive testing. So what is meant by the positive testing? The third one will be the positive testing. So what's meant by the positive testing? So positive testing is a testing technique. Positive testing verifies how the application behaves for the positive set of data. So positive testing is a kind of testing technique. Positive testing verifies how the application behaves for the positive set of data. For example, we just consider the Facebook application. Okay, so Facebook web application. I just going to test the login criteria of the Facebook web applications. So I just test the login criteria of the Facebook web application by using the positive set of data. So by using the positive set of data, I just test the login criteria of the Facebook web application. This will be named comes under the category of the positive testing. So by using the positive data, we can test the certain module of the application. This will be considered the category of positive testing. So positive testing is a kind of software testing technique that positive testing verifies how the application behaves for the positive set of data. So positive testing means passing the valid input details and test the functionality of the application. While passing the valid input details, after that test the functionality of the application will be named as the positive testing. But for normally we can test the application by using not only the positive data and also we can use the negative data. So in order to test a certain application means we need, for example, to test the login page of the Facebook web application means we can't use only the positive set of data, we also give them negative data also. So this will become the positive set of data will become under the category of positive testing and the negative data will become under the category of the negative testing. Okay, so next one will be the negative testing. So negative testing is also known as failure testing or error path testing. So the another name of negative testing is the failure testing or error path testing. So what is the failure testing and error path testing? So while give the negative data, we just get only the failure. Okay, so while enter the valid username and password means we just enter it, we get the home page of the Facebook web application will get displayed. In another way, while entering the invalid data, invalid username and invalid password, or invalid username, valid password, so anything will be invalid. So if any one of the given value will be invalid means we just get the error message only. So this will be named as the error path testing, otherwise the failure testing. Okay, so this will be named as failure testing, negative path testing. So negative testing is also known as the failure testing or error path testing. When performing negative testing, expectations are expected. So when performing the negative testing, exceptions are accepted. Okay, so without in case any exceptions cannot be arrived means it will be declared as the bug. Okay, because while entering the invalid data, so while entering the invalid username and password in the Facebook web application, we need to get some exception, we need to get some error messages, so we need to get some failures. As a result will be the failure of the display of home page of the Facebook web application. So while entering the negative data, we can steadily able to expect the exception in this area. This will be the negative testing. Okay, so next point, negative testing means while passing the invalid input detail and test the functionality of the application. See the difference between these. So positive testing means, so in an application we just go to do both of the testing, negative testing as well as positive testing. Okay, so positive testing means while passing the valid detail and test the functionality of the application. While passing this will be the positive testing. While passing the invalid detail and test the functionality of the application comes under the category of negative testing. Okay, while passing the invalid detail and test the functionality of the application, this will be comes under the category of negative testing. So in positive testing, we can expect the home page will be displayed. while testing the Facebook web application. Okay, while in negative testing means what we can expect. So our expectation will be only the exception. So exception in the login page. Okay, so this will be the difference between the positive testing and negative testing. Okay, okay, and next kind of testing will be the next type of testing will be the formal testing. So what is meant by the formal testing? Testing performed with a plan, documented set of test cases, etc. So formal testing is nothing but testing performed with a plan. So we just create a plan and we just design the application, we just follow the flow of STLC, we just follow the business requirement document, software specification document, design specification document, and much of documents. Okay, so testing performed with a plan, documented set of test cases. So we need to follow some flow of test cases. So for entire application we get some test case. So this will, while following this process will be comes under the category of the formal testing. So testing performed with a plan, documented set of test cases, etc. So in formal testing we need to follow the flow of STLC and then perform the testing. Formal testing means we need to follow the flow of STLC. So why need to follow the flow of STLC? Whenever we follow the flow of STLC means we get the we can able to deliver the quality product to the customer. Okay, in order to deliver the quality product to the customer we must need to follow the flow of STLC and then perform the testing. So whenever we can follow the flow of STLC we can able to deliver the quality product to the customer. Okay, so this will be named as the formal testing. So in formal testing we need to follow the flow of STLC. IT software companies prefer formal testing if they have proper documentation, time and budget. So when the formal testing will be suitable? So in all situation, in every situation, the formal testing is not suitable for the every companies. Okay, so in every situation the formal testing is not possible for all companies. Whenever it will be possible means in IT software companies prefer formal testing. Yeah, when they get prefer the formal testing. So the formal testing are preferred at the time they have proper documentation and the proper time and the proper budget. With certain these conditions only they can follow of formal testing. Otherwise they can go for the informal testing. But maximum we need to follow the flow of formal testing. This will be used to deliver the quality product to the customer. Okay. So what's the formal testing? Formal testing means we need to follow certain plan and certain documented test cases, etc. to get the quality product to the customer. Okay, so in formal testing we need to follow the flow of STLC and then perform the testing process. Okay, so next one. Okay, so when the IT companies can prefer the formal testing, so they can prefer the formal testing while at the duration of they had the proper documentation and time and budget. In that certain duration only they had preferred the formal testing process. Okay, this will be comes under the category of formal testing. Okay, so this will be the formal testing, and another one will be the, so if in case any companies does not have that much of time and that much of budget and that much of documents means they need to follow the informal testing only, or that the kind of emergency situation we need to follow some informal testing. So it will be common. So informal testing also the common basis, so it will be used only for the emergency situation. Okay, so so then we discuss, but first we need to discuss what is informal testing. So informal testing methods are cheaper than formal testing. So while compared to the formal testing, the informal testing methods are more cheaper. Why? Because we no need to follow any documentation, we need no need to follow any plan, we need no need to follow any flow of STLC. So without flowing the follow of STLC, we get do some testing process. This will be comes under the category of informal testing. So informal testing methods are cheaper than the formal testing, because the reason they do not include any documentation, they do not include any training, or they can't have any planning process, and they can't have that much of cost to do the process. So in this situation we can go for the informal testing. So where the experience the informal testing, who can done this informal testing? So every tester cannot perform this informal testing, because they can't, every testers can't have that much of knowledge. Okay, so experienced test engineers conduct informal testing using their previous experience. So only experienced test engineer can perform the informal testing. Depending on their previous experience, they can perform their informal testing. Okay. So informal testing means without following any flow of STLC and without having any plan, without having any document, and without having that much of time, and also without having that much of cost to perform some operation is named as the, it comes under the category of informal testing. Okay. Okay, so in informal testing, who can done this informal testing? Informal testings are entirely done only by the experienced test engineers. They can conduct the informal testing using their previous experience. By using their previous experience, they can conduct the testing, which is nothing but the informal testing. Okay. So for a real-time example for the informal testing, just consider the COVID situation. Okay. So during COVID situation, the applications like Redbus and some other applications, they add the COVID awareness in their application. Okay. So everybody should know it's this condition. Okay, so this situation, so during the COVID situation, we need to have some awareness regarding the COVID. So this awareness will be created in the entire applications. So likewise in the Redbus application or in any other Facebook web application, any application, they contain some awareness program, some awareness content. So these are will be comes under the category of informal testing, because it will be the emergency situation. During this kind of emergency situations also we can go for the informal testing. Not only the every situation we can go for informal testing. We can go the informal testing only at the time of emergency situation, or any time which does not contains any content, any cost, okay, any document, any training, or any planning cost. This kind of situation only we can go for the informal testing. Okay, so let's consider the difference between this formal and informal testing. Informal testing, we need to follow the flow of STLC, so in order to deliver the quality product to the customer. But in case of informal testing, we can't follow any flow of STLC. This will be done at the time of emergency situation. Okay, this will be the formal testing and informal testing. Okay, next one, what is meant in monkey testing? The next type of testing will be the monkey testing. So monkey testing is a testing technique. Okay, so monkey testing is a software testing technique in software development, where a tester provide random input to the application without any test case to crash the system. So during at the time of testing, the companies can give the valid username, valid password, invalid username, invalid password, and all the kind of test data. So for the credit card section is they can give the duplicate credit cards and also the original credit cards and everything. This will be depend on the companies. Okay, the companies can give the entire details, but without using those kind of details, we need the testers can give some random input to the application. Okay, without use the test data which are given by the company, the testers can make some random input to the application. This will becomes under the category of monkey testing, which may try to crash the system also. Okay, which may try to crash the systems. Okay, so monkey testing means without use the test data given by the company, we just follow the some random inputs. Okay, we just give some random inputs to test the application. It will becomes under the category of monkey testing. This technique is applied to the entire system and is used to discover bugs. So while using this kind of testing, we can able to certain we get chances to identify more number of bugs in the application. Okay, this technique is applied to the entire system and is used to discover the bug. So instead of using the test data which is given by the companies, we can pass some random input data. We can pass some random input data. While passing this kind of random input data without so without use the test data given by the given by the companies, we can use the random data. By using this kind of random data, we can able to identify the new bugs. We can able to discover the bugs which is different from the normal one. Okay, so and is used to discover the bugs that otherwise would not be detected by traditional means. So those bugs which are not detected by the traditional way, we can get these bugs during this kind of monkey testing. Okay, so this is the important point of the monkey testing. While performing the monkey testing, we can get some different kind of bugs. We can able to discover the different kind of bugs. So what's the reason behind this kind of different bugs? Because we can pass the random data without passing the because we can pass the random data instead of passing the data which are test data which are given by the companies. Okay, this will be comes under the category of the monkey testing. Okay. So next one will be the next stage of testing will be the retesting. So what is the mean by retesting? So it's under the name. Retesting is a procedure where we need to check that particular test cases. So retesting is a procedure where we need to check that particular test cases which are found with some bugs during the execution time. Okay, so during the execution of the testing, during test execution stage in the STLC flow. Okay, just consider the test execution stage of the STLC flow. During that stage, we just execute the test cases and identify the bugs in the application. Okay, so during that stage, we just execute the test cases and also we can able to identify some bugs in their applications. So these bugs are raised by the testers to the developers. Okay, these bugs are raised by the testers to the developers by using some tools like with the Jira tool and some other tool. Okay, so retesting is a okay. So during the time of execution stage in the STLC, we just identify some bugs in the application. These bugs are raised by the testers to the developer during that execution time. So those bugs are identified by the developers. So those bugs are identified and cleared by the developers. After the bugs are cleared, it will be again the same test case will be again moved to the testing team. The testers can able to retest that particular test case whether the bug is fixed or not. This stage will be considered as the retesting stage. So retesting stage means the bugs which are raised at the duration of test execution stage, those bugs are raised to the developer. The developer can fix that bug. After that, they need to retest the retest the particular test case whether the bug is fixed or not. This stage will be named as the retesting stage. Okay. Okay, so retesting also occurs when the product is already tested. So the retesting process will occur. See the first stage. First one will be the retesting under the test execution stage, and second stage of retesting will be the retesting also occur. Notice point, when the product is already tested. We had already tested that product and the product is ready to deliver. In that certain duration also we make some retesting. Okay, so retesting also occur when the product is already tested and due to some problem it need to be tested again, and due to some problems it need to be tested again. These states are named as retesting. So this one under this condition the retesting are done in two ways. First one, retesting is a retesting are done at the during of execution. We need the testers can raise some bugs. The bugs are fixed by the developers. After that we need to retest that bugs whether it can be fixed or not. So this will be the first condition, and second condition will be the entire application is tested and the application is ready to release. During that stage we can perform some retesting because due to some problem we can due to some issues raised in it, we have done the retesting again. This will be comes under the second condition. Okay, these conditions are named as the retesting condition. Okay. Okay, so next kind of testing will be the smoke testing. So what's mean by smoke testing? Smoke testing is done to make sure if the build we have received from the development team is testable or not. Okay, so smoke testing is nothing done to make sure if the build received from the development team. So during the test execution stage of STLC flow, we had received the build from the development team. Okay, so the build received from the development team is able to be tested whether it is testable or not. It will be tested to either it will be before starting the execution process. We just test the build, either will be able to test this build or not. This will be the initial stage of the testing, which is nothing but the smoke testing, which is named as the smoke testing. This will be the initial stage. Okay, smoke testing is done to make sure if the build we received from the development team is testable or not. Okay, it is also called as the day zero check. So this testing is also named as day zero check. So what is mean by the day zero check? Day zero check is nothing but the before starting the testing process we make some testing whether the build received from the development team is testable or not. This will be the day zero check, initial stage of the testing process, checking process. This will be named as day zero check. it is done at the build level. So where it will be done, it is done at the build level. So build level means developing level. Okay, so it help not to waste the time, testing time, to simply testing the whole application when the key feature don't have without you testing the key feature. So instead of testing the key features, we just go for testing the entire application, means it will be wasting the time. Okay, simply waste of time. So in order to avoid this kind of situation, we make some day zero checking. This will be the important testing comes under the software testing process. Okay, so this will be the important testing. Day zero check will be the important testing. So it help not to waste the testing time, to simplify testing the whole application. So instead of testing the whole application, instead of testing the key feature of the application, we just test the entire application. Means if there are any defect which are raised in the key feature, means it will be entirely collapsed. Okay, so it will be just the waste of time and waste of money. So in order to avoid these kind of issues, we can make some initial stage of testing. This will be named as the day zero check smoke testing. Okay, smoke testing is done to make sure if the build we received from the development team is testable or not. Okay, so next point, an example of smoke testing. So consider the example for the smoke testing. So what's the example of the smoke testing? An example of smoke testing could be the testing of a login functionality of a web application. Testing the login functionality of the web application. This will be the real-time example for the smoke testing. Okay, so the real-time example for smoke testing will be the testing the login functionalities of the Facebook web applications. Okay, so next one, regression testing. So what's mean with the regression testing? Regression testing, it is done to make sure the existing functionalities of the application is not impacted. It is done to make sure that existing functionalities of the application is not impacted. So what's the existing functionalities of the application? So we had some certain application. Okay, for example, consider the Facebook application. So we need after certain duration, after the releasing of the application, certain duration, they had some updates. While updating the application, after make some update in that application, we need to test whether the old functionalities of the applications are affected or not. Either it will be impacted due to the new functionalities. Okay, this will be considered as the regression testing. Okay, so at the time of updating the application. Okay, so this will be done under the stage of at the time of updating the application. So after updating the application, we need to test the old functionalities of the application can be affected or not. This will be named as the regression testing. Make sure that existing functionalities of the application is impacted. So it is done to make sure whether the old functionality of the application is impacted. Whenever any new functionality is added to the application, whenever we can add the new functionalities of the application, we need to make some regression testing whether the old functionalities can be affected or not. Okay, so let's consider regression testing methods. Regression testing methods. So what are the methods which are done in the regression testing? Okay, so first one will be the regression test selection. Okay, regression test selection. In this method, you choose the test case that required retesting. So we need to follow certain methods to perform the regression testing. Okay, so in order to perform the regression testing, we need to follow some testing methods. So first one will be the regression test selection. So what's the regression test selection? Regression test selection. In this method, we choose the test case that require retesting. We need to choose the certain test case because we no need to test the entire one. We need to test the certain test case. So second method of the regression testing will be the prioritization of the test case. So here in this method, you collect all of the test scenario and prioritize each. Okay, so in this case, in this stage, we need to collect all of the test scenario for that particular test case, and we need to give some priorities. Okay, each. So now third stage will be the retesting stage. So in the retest all, in this method, you retest the entire regression test suite. We need to retest the entire regression test suite, and the last stage will be the hybrid. In this strategy, regression test selection and test case prioritization are combined. So hybrid means both the combination of the regression test selection and prioritization of the test case. During the combination of, we can perform some testing. This will becomes under the category of the hybrid stage. Okay. So regression testing means testing the old functionalities of the application while adding some new functionalities. Due to the impact of that new functionality, any changes will be identified in the old functionalities. Okay. So this will be done under certain four method. First method will be the regression test selection. So in this stage we need to select that particular test case, and second stage will be the prioritization of the test case. In this stage we need to give some priority to the each and every scenarios, and third stage will be the retest all. We need to make retest the entire regression test. So and fourth one will be the hybrid means combination of the first two stages. Okay. So this will be the regression testing, and next one will be the sanity testing. So what is meant by the sanity testing? So smoke testing means day zero check. Regression testing means testing the old functionalities of the application, if to identify is there any impact due to the adding the new functionalities in the application. Okay, and next one will be the sanity testing. So what is the sanity testing? Sanity testing is done during the release phase. It is done at the time of release. So sanity testing is done during the release phase of the application to check for the main functionalities of the application without going deeper. So during the time of sanity during the time of release to the live environment, we cannot be able to go for the regression testing, because regression testing is the deepest one. So we need to check the each and every functionalities which are available in the application. This will be the regression testing. So during the time of release to the live environment, we cannot able to choose that regression testing. So because we can't have that much of time to make the regression testing, so for that kind of situation we can go for the sanity testing. So what's the sanity testing? Sanity testing is done during the time of release. In sanity testing we just test the main functionalities of the application. We cannot go in depth of the application, we just test the main functionalities of the application. So to test the main functionalities of the application without going deeper, it will becomes under the category of the sanity testing. Okay. So this will be the sanity testing. So it is also called as a subset of regression testing. The subset of the regression testing will be named as the sanity testing. It is done at the release level. So it is done at release level. During the release time constraint, regression testing cannot be done to the build. Sanity testing does the part by checking the main functionality of the build. So we had already discussed this one. So during the time of release constraint, we cannot go for the regression testing. So we just check the main functionalities of the application. In order to test the main functionalities of the application, we can go for the sanity testing. So the difference between the regression testing and sanity testing will be regression testing is done after adding some new functionalities to the application. Sanity testing is done at the time of release to the live environment. Okay. So during regression testing, we need to test the each and every functionalities of the application. Because why we need to test each and every functionality of the application? While updating the application means maybe it can impact some old functionalities. Okay, due to this we need to test the entire application. But in case of sanity testing, it will be done at the time of release. We can't able to go for regression testing. We just test the main functionalities of the application. Okay, so this will be the difference between the regression testing and the sanity testing. Okay, and next one will be the beta testing. So what's named as beta testing? Beta testing is done by a limited number of end users before delivery. Beta testing is done by a limited number of end users before delivery. Before release the application to the live environment at last stage of testing. Before release the build to the live environment, the last stage of testing will be named as the beta testing. So beta testing is done by a limited number of users. So it is done with a limited number of users before delivery. Okay, so usually it is done in the client place, whereas usability, functionality and security and dependability and all thoroughly tested during beta testing. So the functionality of the test application, usability of the application, security of the application and dependability of the application, which are all thoroughly tested during the beta testing. So beta testing is also the main important testing. Okay, so it will be done at the stage of release. So before release to the live environment, we can go for that beta testing. Before that we can go for the sanity testing and everything. Okay. So last one will be the live environment release testing. So what's the last one? Live environment testing. So it is nothing but testing the application in the live environment. It is nothing but the testing the application in the live environment. So since it is one of the last safe place, because it is one of the last live environment testing means it's not after release the application to the live environment, it will be done before the release only. So as we okay, sorry, okay, so it is nothing but the testing the application in the live environment, since it is one of the last safe place, because to identify and fix environment related bugs before moving it into release stage. So this will be done before move to the release stage to fix the environmental related bugs. Okay, as an user we had some environment related bugs, this will be fixed under the category of the live environment testing. Okay. So next one, testing techniques. Okay, before that, so we got some discussed some lot of testings. Okay, some types of testing. So white box testing, black box testing, positive testing, negative testing, formal testing, informal testing. So next one, sanity testing, regression testing, smoke testing, monkey testing, beta testing, and live environment testing. So these are all comes under the category of the types of testing. Next one will be the testing techniques. So what's the testing techniques? So what are all the testing techniques which are available in the software testing? So this will be mainly focused on the manual testing process. Because so the first one will be the equivalence case partitioning technique. So first case of testing technique will be the equivalence case partitioning technique, and second one will be the decision table techniques, and second case will be the decision table technique, and third one will be the state transition technique, and fourth one will be the boundary value analysis, and fourth testing technique will be the boundary value analysis, and fifth one will be the error guessing technique, and last one will be the adapt testing. So testing techniques. So what's mean testing technique? In order to test some, for example, just to consider the word. So these are all mainly focused on the manual testing process, like we see equivalent case partitioning, decision table, state transition. So in order to enter the in order to verify the OTPs, in order to verify the file sizes, so and in order to verify the login criteria, in order to verify the age criteria. So in order to verify some criteria, likewise the criteria, we can go for the equivalent case partitioning techniques and the testing techniques. Mainly we can go for the testing techniques. So this mainly focused on the manual testing process. Okay, so okay, so these testing techniques are discussed in the next classes. Okay, thank you.